All right, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Or I guess it's good afternoon for some of you in other parts of the world. But so thank you for joining us today. We're hosting our pre-departure and financial aid webinar. I'm Gladys Calderon speaking. I'm the Admissions and International Student Counselor, and I'm also joined by Stephanie Thomason, Assistant Director of Financial Aid. All right, so here's our agenda, what the things that we're going to cover today. Visa process and pre-departure information, so we'll share a little bit about how to obtain your visa, what the process is, and how to prepare to travel. Next, we'll talk a little bit about financial aid for international students. And then lastly, we'll save some time to do a quick Q&A. If you have any questions, you can type them into the chat box. So you understand a little bit about the technology we're using. All of you are muted and we are unable to see you. You can hear us, but you cannot see us. So if any questions come up along the way, just type them into the question box and we'll be able to see them. We'll take some time at the end of the webinar to answer those for you. If you are having trouble hearing us, go ahead and click the raise your hand or type into the chat box and let us know if you're having trouble hearing us. Yeah. If you can hear us, if you can hear us and you're not having any problems, go ahead and type something into the chat box or raise your hand as well, just so we get an idea of the responses. Make sure that there's people listening. Okay, perfect. So it looks like we're having some responses. Excellent. All right, so we're going to go ahead and assume that we're excellent, that we're audible. All right, so let's move right along. All right, so you've been admitted to the Masters of Bioscience or to the Postdoc Professional Master's Program, and you're an international student. So what's next? You have to take a couple of steps. The first is going to be to request your I-20, which is a certificate issued by our institution that verifies that you are admitted and eligible for F1 status. Once you've received that document, you'll organize and apply for your visa, for your F1 student visa. And once you've been approved for your visa, you'll start to make travel plans so that you can make sure you're here on time or orientation. So what does that consist of? In order to obtain your I-20, there's a couple of steps you need to take care of. There's a link right below the financial certification here. That link will take you to the page that will walk you through the steps. It has all the forms you're required to submit as well. So you'll first be required to submit your letter of intent and enrollment fee. That you could do that online on our website. Again, the link, you can find the link on our website, same link that's below the financial certification. So all the info you need is there. Once you've submitted your enrollment fee, then you can begin the process of requesting your I-20. You'll have to fill out the I-20 request form and provide a copy of your valid passport. And keep in mind that your passport has to be valid 6 months into the future from the start date of the program. So for us, that means our program starts in August. So your passport needs to be valid 6 months past August. That would be about February in order to be eligible with that passport. The second document you have to submit is the financial certification. This document is basically proof that you are able to support yourself for the first full academic year. So you'll need to provide proof of adequate support for the first year, and that means bank statements for either checkings or savings accounts. The money has to be readily available in a fluid account. It cannot be investments. It cannot be properties or stocks or anything like that. So it has to be available. And you can submit those statements to me. They should be original, so you should have those mailed. And then once I have those documents, then I can issue your I-20. Make sure you send these with some time so that you have enough I have enough time to process your I-20 and you have enough time to apply for your visa. So here's what you need to show for the first year. This is on the financial certification. This is taken off of our financial certification. And Stephanie will speak a little bit more about the fees and whatnot. But this gives you an idea. The top right-hand corner that's highlighted with red, that is what you need to show for the MBS for the entire year. So you'll need to show enough for your tuition and fees, health insurance, as well as cost of living for the first 9 months. And that comes to a total of $57,526. If you have questions specifically about this, feel free to contact me, send in your questions, or you can contact me offline later. All right. So now you have your I-20. I've mailed your I-20 to you. And the next step is to obtain your F1 student visa. So here are the steps to obtaining it. First, you have to contact your U.S. Embassy or consulate to make an appointment. There may not necessarily be one in your city, but there should be one in your country. Contact the nearest one to you and schedule an appointment to see a visa, an embassy representative. At minimum, you will be required to submit a visa application and the fee, and this fee refers to the CBIS fee. You can pay that online. It is $200, and you'll need to show proof of that receipt when you come to your visa appointment. Bring passport-style photo, a valid passport, again, 6 months into the future, your I-20, which I will have issued for you, and all of the proof of financial support that you provided to me, bring those with you as well. And so that's at minimum. So you might want to bring some extra things, including maybe your letter of admissions, other documents that might show your ties to your home country. So the visa interview is going to be relatively, well, it's going to be very short. So here are some things that you should know and be prepared for your visa interview. Know the program. If you're not able to articulate the reasons that you will study in the particular program in the U.S., you might not be convincing to the consular officer that you are actually planning to study here. So just be sure you know what your goals are, what you're doing in the program, and what you're trying to accomplish. Show ties to your home country, so maybe show that you have family, show the returning home address where you're going to be maintaining ties. If you have businesses and things like that, that also counts. Have information specifically about KGI and what we do. Talk about the consortium. Our consortium is more well-known than our particular school is. So if the consular officer doesn't necessarily recognize KGI, they will likely recognize the consortium. So be prepared to talk about KGI and the Claremont Consortium. And then, so your interview really is only going to last anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes, if that. So it's very, very quick. And immediately you'll receive a visa decision. So generally, we're hoping that you get a visa accept, which is the best news you can get, and you can move forward. In some cases, you may receive a 221G hold, which is basically an administrative hold, and they may ask for additional evidence. This is the reason why you should plan ahead and make sure you schedule your visa with a lot of time. In case you have an administrative hold, it's not clear how long these take, so you want to give yourself all of the time possible. And just keep me updated on any progress on it. And then, of course, a 214B is a deny. So maybe you didn't show enough ties to your home country, or your intent wasn't clear. So that would be the worst case scenario. So what are some common visa interview tips or interview questions that we've seen asked of our students? And these are probably things that you should prepare before heading in. Questions like, what is your major in the future school? Do you have family in the U.S.? How are you going to pay for your course and living expenses? What will you do after graduation? And then why KGI, and what schools are you going, and what school are you going to? So be prepared to answer some of those questions. Again, your interview is going to be so brief. You just want to be able to answer quickly and confidently. Don't show that you're hesitant, because that may raise some concern for the consular officer. All right. So now you have your visa, hopefully. And the next step is to start planning your departure. Plan ahead, of course. So again, give yourself plenty of time. If you've already been admitted, hopefully you're moving on the enrollment fee and requesting your I-20 so that you can give yourself as much time to plan for your trip. Contact airlines for baggage limitations once you're ready to book your airline. Some airlines may allow you to carry less weight than others, and so that may be something you take into consideration. When you travel, use traveler's checks or use major credit cards. Don't carry a lot of cash on you. That's just, a common safety tip. Health and medicine. If there's any medication that you're taking, come prepared with some of it because health expenses are quite high in the U.S. And it may be maybe a few weeks before you can use your health insurance. So be sure that you come prepared. You'll also be required to submit tuberculosis exam results. So bring your letter from your physician certifying that you have had a TB test or chest x-ray. And the student health services on campus can administer the test if you're unable to obtain it at home. However, you will be required to submit results for that. Keep in mind that your orientation is August 18th. It is a mandatory in-person orientation. So you want to arrive before that, plan accordingly so that you can kind of adjust a little bit, maybe arrive a day or two before the 18th. Also, keep in mind that you cannot arrive more than 30 days before this date, August 18th. So the earliest you can arrive in the U.S. would be about September 19th. Booking your flight, you want to book a flight to LAX is the nearest international airport. We also have Ontario nearby, but you are likely only going to find international flights to LAX. There is airport pickup opportunities that are offered by the International Place of the Claremont Consortium. The International Place is a student services office for international students that services all 7 of the colleges, and they will do a lot of programming, a lot of events for international students, and in the beginning of the year they also do airport pickups, so you can schedule that with them, and they can also help arrange a host family if you need somebody to stay with for the first 2 or 3 nights while you find housing or get your things in place. They can help you find a local American host family. So you can find that information on their website here, iplace.claremont.edu. They will likely begin registering for airport pickups and host families in the next 2 months or so. So keep an eye out for that. There is a deadline for that as well. So if you are planning to use those benefits, make sure you're planning ahead and registering with time. Other housing resources that you might want to use. Once admitted, we're inviting you into a LinkedIn group for all newly admitted students. This is usually the best resource for finding roommates and for hooking up with other incoming students to find housing nearby. So I would certainly encourage you to use that. We also have the CUC Real Estate and Housing Services. This is, again, a consortium-wide office that offers listings for local housing, for local apartments. People who are looking for roommates or have available rooms also list here. So this is also a resource that you can tap into and use as you look for nearby housing. As you should know by now, we don't have on-campus housing, so this will be a responsibility of yours to find nearby housing. So once you've got all of this settled and you're ready to board your airplane, make sure you carry your documents with you, but also make sure you keep a copy at home, maybe leave a copy with your family in your home country, put a copy of your documents in your luggage just in case something goes missing, you have backups of it. But when you board the plane, make sure that in your hands you carry your passport, your SEVIS Form I-20, your evidence of financial resources, the paper receipt of your SEVIS fee, and then my contact information in case you're held up at the port of entry. All right. Once you arrive and you are processed at the port of entry, they will ask to see your passport and your I-20, and they will issue an I-94. So the I-94 you can see it used to be a small paper card that they'd issue you. It has now gone electronic, so very few of you will see this paper form here. No problem. All of you will now receive an online electronic I-94. Once you arrive, you can Google I-94 and look up your I-94 and print that. Make sure you're checking in with me within 10 days of your arrival. So you'll bring your passport, your I-94, and your I-20 to me so that I can verify that it's all been processed correctly and that you are, in fact, in F1 international student status.
All right, hi everybody. My name is Stephanie Thomason, and I am the Assistant Director of Financial Aid, and I am going to be going over the financial aid options for international students in the NeedBased program. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is the tuition and cost of attendance for the 15-16 academic year. The NeedBased program, 1 year of tuition is $37,900. There are fees, professional services fee and student government fee that equals $650. And then all international students are required to have student health insurance, which an acronym for it here at KGI, it's called SHIP. And right now, the cost is $2,976. It is billed at the beginning of each year, and the health insurance is good for the entire academic year and also through the summer. Now, something that you should know is we are working on trying to negotiate some better insurance fees, and if the premiums change, we will definitely let you know, and it will hopefully be a benefit to our students. Now, on the bottom here, we have the other estimated costs. Now, the tuition and fees and health insurance, those are fixed mandatory fees. The other estimated costs are, just that, they're estimates on, by polling other students that have attended or are currently attending KGI, and also just looking at some of the documentation that the state of California puts out for the Los Angeles area. Now, these estimated costs, you can, let's say, for instance, the housing, the $8,595, that includes rent, utilities, cell phone, things like that. That's just an estimate for the 9 months that you will actually be attending school. Most students don't spend that much. Like, a lot of students get roommates and they're able to actually lower that cost. The same with transportation and books and supplies and personal and miscellaneous. Now, these are, like I said, again, just estimates, and you can, your living expenses can be as much or as little as you decide. Okay. So the ways to fund your education here at KGI, we have grants, which are money, grants and fellowships and scholarships, which is money that you do not have to pay back. KGI offers an international student loan, and there is some availability of private student loans, and we're going to go into each of these areas into a little bit more detail. The grant aid that KGI offers are the KGI Merit Fellowships, endowed or named fellowships, and also scholarship matching. Now, if you have been accepted into the NeedBased program, your acceptance letter should have come with any merit fellowships that you were awarded. Now, sometimes a merit fellowship can be a KGI sponsored fellowship, and other times it will be from a different group or donor. There is no separate application for the named fellowships. It's just if you met the criteria to the criteria that the donor put out, then we match students to those fellowships. We also have a scholarship matching program. If you are awarded a scholarship that you have procured on your own, KGI will match that scholarship up to $5,000. We also have student loans. KGI offers an international student loan to all of our international students. This is an annual loan, so if you're in the NeedBased program, you will have to fill out 2 promissory notes, one for each year of the program. The international loan has a limit of $20,500 per year, so that's $41,000 for the program, and we'll get into a little bit more of that in just a minute. And there are also private loans available either through, there are a few lenders that do international student private loans that are U.S.-based lenders, and then also students have been successful in getting a private education loan from their country of origin as well. And then there is also NeedBased Aid available, which we'll go into a little bit more detail as well. And NeedBased Aid is actually grant aid, so you do not have to pay it back if you are awarded it. Okay, so the fellowships are awarded by KGI on the basis of academic merit. Like I explained before, they may come directly from KGI, which on your award letter it would say KGI Merit Fellowship, or from a donor. And sometimes people are awarded both, so one of each. The named fellowships are awarded based on matching students with the donor's awarding criteria and are awarded on a first-come, first-served basis. There is not a separate application for fellowships. The fellowship application is included in your application to the NeedBased program. Fellowships are awarded for the entire duration of the NeedBased program. An example of this, if you were awarded a $12,000 fellowship, the award will be dispersed to your account $3,000 each semester in the program. There are 4 semesters in the program. Fellowship awards cannot be increased. So if you are awarded a $12,000 fellowship, just to use any number, you cannot write to us and ask that that be increased. And they are awarded on a first-come, first-served basis. Okay. Moving on. The scholarship matching program, scholarships are a great way to help fund your education. We will match awarded scholarships up to $5,000 per year. I have a Twitter account, which is twitter.com, and then you can type in the & KGI Financial Aid, and it will take you to our Twitter page. And as I come across outside scholarships that may or may not apply to our students, I will post them. And I also post scholarship search engines. And there is an international scholarships search engine that I will repost today, so it'll kind of be up on the Twitter timeline, so it's easier to find, and you may be able to find a scholarship through there. And then just some of our students have been successful in obtaining scholarships from the below programs. Okay, the international loan is the loan maximum per year is $20,500. There is an origination fee of 2%, and the interest rate is 8.5%. Your origination fee will be added on to your loan balance, so they will not take out the 2% origination fee before disbursement. So the billing here at KGI, you're billed each semester, so your loan would be $10,250 applied to your account per semester, and that whole amount will be applied. The origination fee is actually added to the back of the loan. Okay, the next slide just shows an example of what your billing may look like, and I apologize, I just noticed that it says fall of 14. That should say fall of 15 and spring of 16. This particular student was awarded a $10,000 fellowship, so that is added in. And the tuition is $8,950 per semester. The fees are $325, and the insurance is billed in the fall. So the total fees due would be $22,251 in the fall and $19,275 in the spring. The fellowship, because it is divided over the 4 semesters, would be $2,500 credit, and then the KGI international loan would be $10,250. So the total credits per semester would be $12,750. If you subtract that from the total charges, the estimated uncovered balance due to KGI would be $9,501 in the fall and $6,525 in the spring. The way you can pay your uncovered balance is you could procure a private loan either from your country of origin or through one of the U.S. private lenders. We also have a way that you can pay online directly to KGI, either through a credit card or a checking account. And we also have a payment plan which would take that uncovered balance per semester and divide it into 4 even monthly payments. So that all of those are available, and once you get here closer to the time of the semester starting, the KGI Student Account Department will send out or post information on how the credit card payment works at work and the payment plans. Okay, so to talk about the private loans, they are credit-based consumer loans for students that can be used for education-related purposes. U.S. lenders require a cosigner that is a U.S. citizen or permanent resident with good credit to loan to an international student. Also, students have, like I said before, have been successful in obtaining a student loan from their home country. And in my experience, most of the students that have obtained loans from their home country have been from India. So I've listed some of the banks that they have been able to get their loans from. Okay, and this next page just shows some of the, like Sallie Mae and Union Federal are some of the U.S. lenders, and then the other are the banks in India. If you go to our financial aid website, it's at kgi.edu. It's in the admissions area, and then there is a financial aid section within that admissions area. You will have access to the KGI International Loan Promissory Note and the Private Loan Portal. If you click on the KGI International Loan link, it will take you to the promissory note and also an FAQ, all of the facts about the loan that you should definitely read through. The promissory note can be emailed, just like scanned and emailed to me, or you can mail it with your financial information that you are mailing to Gladys. If you scan your promissory note, I need the original signature page, so you could just mail the signature page with your financial information to Gladys. We found that that's a good way for students to do it in the past. Or you can wait until you get here and drop it by my office, but your loan will not be dispersed until I have that original signature page. And then the private lenders, that link there, it will link you to an outside web page that will take you to all of the lenders that do international private loans. Something else that I am working on, and hopefully it will be finished by the next month or so, is an international loan entrance counseling. It's electronic entrance counseling that will go into the details of the loan and also some important facts on interest, capitalized interest, and things like that. So I will email that out when it is finished. Okay, the next slide is about Need Access, which is a common application for our need-based aid. We do offer need-based aid to both domestic and international students who can demonstrate a financial need. Entering first-year MBS students who wish to be considered for need-based aid are required to complete the Need Access application. Parental information is required unless you are at least 30 years old on December 31st, 2015, or are married and claim dependents on you obviously wouldn't have a federal tax return, but if you're married, you don't need parental information. And to apply, the Need Access website is, the address is listed below. You can also email myself or your admissions counselor, and I can send you the link. The next slide just talks about, we do have some money management resources. The Access Ready site and also the Bank of America and Khan Academy, Better Money Habits. If you have some extra time, it's just good, solid information on managing money. We do have a KGI Student Portal, and once you're admitted, you will get access to the KGI Student Portal. The site will allow you to register classes, review grades, and also review financial aid related information. At this point, the financial aid area is the only area that's open, but I do want students to see their pending financial aid, and you do have to accept or decline your pending financial aid on the financial aid portal. Okay, some deadlines for you. The deadline for the KGI International Loan Promissory Note with the original signature page and loan accepted on the KGI portal is due by August 15th. And I prefer that you give me your original signature page, like when you're mailing things to Gladys, or you can mail it separate, and then you can accept your loans ahead of time because it is an electronic portal. If you do procure a private student loan, they give you the opportunity to ask when the disbursement should be, and you can schedule your disbursement for 1 week before classes begin, which is August 25th. Okay, so after you have submitted your letter of intent, I will start posting the financial aid electronic award letter. I'm posting them now, so if I get your KGI International Loan Promissory Note, I will post that. We have a new student orientation that starts on August 18th, and classes begin on September 1st. We do have a responsible borrowing presentation during the orientation, and you're more than welcome to come. It is going to focus a little bit more on the federal U.S. financial aid, but there will be good information for you as well. All right, so if you have any questions for either Gladys or myself, you can type them in now. If you feel more comfortable emailing us directly, Gladys can be reached at international@kgi.edu, and I can be reached at financial_aid@kgi.edu. So does anybody have any questions? The question is how to fill out the Need Access application for student as well as parent. I can send you a link to the Need Access application. It's an electronic application. There is a fee of $28 to complete it, and then the questions are pretty basic financially, and then once you submit it, it will be approximately 5 days for you to hear if you are awarded any additional aid. And just to let you know, a couple of people on the Need-Based Aid Committee are going to be out of town next week, so it might take a little bit longer.
All right.
Yeah, you're welcome for the information. And please feel free to contact us if you have any specific questions.
Yeah.
The need-based aid is based on the information that you put on your application. And for international students, if, I prefer that you put the same information that you're giving Gladys and the U.S. government on your financial situation. But if there is something that should be noted by the Need-Based Aid Committee, please write it in the comments section. So if your situation may change to where you believe that you should receive need-based aid, please write what that circumstance is in the comment situation, and that goes a long way to helping us make that decision. And the amount just depends on the amount of need. I would say it ranges anywhere from $1,000 to maybe $5,000, and that is dispersed over the 2 years of the program. So it's a little bit of extra grant aid, but it's not going to cover your uncovered balance. Should we put in the details of my need-based application?
I imagine that this question is in regards to the financial certification in order to obtain your I-20. It'll give you a space to put in all of the money, all of the sources of funding that you will have, including grants and including sponsors and need-based aid. However, you can only enter what you already have into that space, so keep that in mind.
The origination fee is 2%. So if you took out a KGI international loan for $20,500, there would be a 2% fee added on to your loan balance for your first disbursement, which is $10,250. So 2% of that will be added to your loan balance. And you don't have to pay your loans while you're in school. However, interest does accrue, and this information will all be in the international entrance counseling. And something also to note is we understand that you have to put, your address that you're living now on your promissory note. However, it is very, very important once you move here and you have a U.S. address that you let Gladys and me know about that U.S. address, and then I will let the servicer of your KGI International loan, I will give them your U.S. address, so your statements will be sent to you locally and not be sent to your country of origin, because they will send them everywhere. Okay, I'm a U.S. citizen, but I live and studied in Mexico. What financial aid do I contact? Are the student from Mexico, you said that you are a U.S. citizen. If you are a U.S. citizen, you can get federal financial aid, and I'm going to be doing a presentation on federal financial aid today at 4 if you want to attend that that presentation as well, or we can talk one-on-one.
If my family income is high, would I get the least amount of financial aid? So the need-based financial aid is only available to students who need it, basically. Grants and fellowships do not take into account your income or your family's income. So grants and fellowships are awarded based on merit, and those range from about...
It depends.
Okay.
They're based on a tier system, which we take a holistic approach. So we look at your your GPA, your
work experience, test scores. So it'll take those three factors into consideration and then award grants based on that. The need-based is only available to students with economic hardships. So yeah, if your income is very high or your family's income is very high, you're likely not going to qualify for that need-based income, need-based aid. However, okay, so in regards to the financial certification, should I give all the sources of income, like fixed deposits, et cetera, or just his salary? So we don't want to see salary, actually. What we want to see is bank statements of fluid accounts. Again, savings or checkings accounts where the money is readily available for use. So again, deposits, stocks, and real estate will not qualify. So keep that in mind as you're submitting those documents. Again, we don't need the salary. The annual salary won't matter. It's what's actually readily available in a bank account.
However, for the need-based aid application, we do take that into consideration. The need-based aid application, they will ask you questions and you just answer them as they come up. Should we put in the details of the need-based application?
All right,
Did we answer that? Okay.
Looks like we don't have any new questions yet, so we'll give it just a minute here and see if anything else comes up.
Yeah, the specific questions regarding the need-based application, it's pretty self-explanatory when you're going through it. So it has a section for your information and your parents' information. And, you know, you don't have to fill it out at the same time. You can send your parents the link and they can fill it out on their own. And they can also, both you and your parents can, I think there's a button that you click that if you don't want the other party to see what your income is.
So can I show very low family income for need-based aid? You have to show what is real. So basically, if your family has a high income, we need to see evidence of that. If they have a very low family income, then we'll require evidence of that.
Yes, and you can be asked for backup documentation on your need-based aid application. You have to answer truthfully, and if you don't answer truthfully and we find out about it, all of your grant aid can be stripped or taken away.
All right, we don't see any new questions. Again, if something comes up as you're, mulling over all of this information, let us know.
And I will send out the need-based aid application to everybody that's attended this webinar, as long as we have your information in our system. And then what's the question?
Does the need-based aid take into account only the money present in the savings accounts of my parents?
You will need to go through the need-based aid application and answer every question that's asked. So though, as those questions come up, that is the information that we need. The question is, how much can be covered with need financial aid? It's not going to cover your balance due to KGI. It may be, a couple $1,000s that is dispersed to you over the 2 years of the program, if you qualify. And need-based aid is also first come, first serve. We have a limited amount of money, and once it's gone, it's gone. So. The question is, can we get more than $5,000 through need-based aid? I don't know. I haven't seen your financial situation. It's very, very unusual that somebody would get it's very unusual that somebody would get $5,000. So, you know, it's probably, if you qualify, it'll probably be that amount or less.
All right. All right, so that looks like that's all the questions we've received so far. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, if anything wasn't answered today for you, or if something comes up as you're thinking about this information, contact us by email, and we will be more than happy to answer these questions for you. Thank you again, and have a nice evening or a nice afternoon, whichever it is for you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.